Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. WWE star CM Punk was not booked on the Saturday night's main event card. However, the star was present at the event and took the opportunity to throw some verbal jabs at Seth Rollins. Rollins was outraged when Punk returned at Survivor Series last year. Since then, the two men haven't seen eye to eye. After this year's Survivor Series, Seth and Punk finally confronted each other in the ring and things got heated as the Visionary shoved Punk. After Saturday night's main event, Punk appeared in an exclusive interview with Jackie Redmond and Peter Rosenberg. He was grateful that fans were chanting his name despite him not being on the card. He then turned his attention towards Seth Rollins, claiming that he understood where the Visionary's anger stemmed from. The straight-edge superstar revealed he would also be incensed if people were chanting someone else's name while he was wrestling. "I think it gets old for a lot of other people, namely Seth Rollins. If I had to wrestle for 10 years, or 7 years, or however long I was gone, and people were chanting somebody else's name, yeah, I'd hate me too." From 0:48 to 1 o'clock, this past Monday on Raw, CM Punk was in a sit-down interview with Jackie Redmond. The straight-edge star made it clear that he wouldn't back away from a fight with Seth. However, he was confused as to why Seth was so angry with him. He recalled their complex history and how Punk shielded Seth from being fired by the WWE back in the day. During the conversation, Punk acknowledged that Seth Rollins was insanely talented, but he was always second string compared to the best in the world. The sold-out crowd at Saturday night's main event was still buzzing with energy, the arena lights slowly dimming after an action-packed show. The night had delivered more than anticipated, with a series of shocking matches and unexpected results, but it was the post-show drama that would keep people talking long after the final bell had sounded. CM Punk, who had returned to WWE after a tumultuous absence, was scheduled for an appearance that night. The expectations surrounding him were sky-high, with fans hoping for a clash between the former WWE champion and some of the company's biggest names. But it wasn't just Punk's on-screen persona that left an impact, it was what transpired once the cameras stopped rolling that turned heads. The atmosphere backstage was still electric as wrestlers celebrated their victories and strategized for future rivalries. Among them was a former WWE champion, someone Punk had a long and complicated history with, none other than Seth Rollins. The two had crossed paths before, their rivalry spanning years, with both men taking jabs at each other in the media and during interviews. But tonight, their interaction would take a far more personal turn. As the crew began to pack up, CM Punk stormed past the makeup area, a scowl on his face. His frustration was palpable. Punk had been known for his quick temper in the past, but tonight something had pushed him over the edge. At the same time, Seth Rollins, who had just finished his match, was conversing with a few of his colleagues, laughing and enjoying the post-event atmosphere. The air was thick with tension as Punk made his way toward Rollins. Without warning, Punk cut through the crowd, making a beeline for the former champion. His voice was calm at first, but the icy tone made it clear he was far from pleased. "Is this the real you, Seth?" Punk asked, his eyes narrowing as he stood face-to-face with Rollins. Rollins, who had been caught off guard by Punk's sudden appearance, raised an eyebrow. "What are you talking about? You still don't get it, do you?" Punk continued, his frustration building. "You call yourself the top guy around here, but all you've done is hide behind the shield of corporate champions. You're a puppet, Seth." The words hung in the air like a thick fog, and the people nearby quickly took notice of the confrontation. Rollins, never one to back down, shot back, his voice filled with both confusion and anger. "A puppet? You've got some nerve, Punk," Rollins fired back. "I've worked my ass off to get here. I didn't rely on cheap shots or walk away when things got tough. You left this place, and now you're back, thinking you can come in and lecture me? What a joke." The tension between the two was palpable, the tension between the past and present of WWE flashing before everyone's eyes. Fans who had been waiting for a reunion between Punk and Rollins were now witnessing the possibility of something even bigger, a rivalry reignited, and this time, it wasn't for show. Punk's jaw clenched, and for a moment, it looked like he might take a swing at Rollins. But instead, he took a step back, his voice filled with disdain. "You think you're better than me, huh? You really do, don't you? Well, newsflash, Seth. You're not. You're just a puppet, just like everyone else in this company. You do what they tell you, say what they want you to say, and then you go home and sleep at night knowing you've played the game. You're no different than the guy who replaced me, the one who thought he could just waltz in and be the face of WWE." Rollins' eyes widened as he processed Punk's words. The tension in the air seemed to grow thicker, and it was clear that this wasn't just a disagreement. This was the start of something far more personal, and neither man was backing down. "You know what, Punk?" Rollins began, his tone lowering to a dangerous whisper. "Maybe you should have stayed gone. Maybe if you had, I wouldn't have to deal with you, with all your misplaced anger and resentment. But you came back, and now you're going to have to deal with the reality you're not the only one who can carry the load around here. You're not the only one who can keep this company on its back." Punk chuckled darkly, the sound sending a chill down the spine of those watching. "Keep telling yourself that, Seth. I've seen your kind before. The arrogant, entitled little boy who thinks the world owes him everything. You think you've earned it, but you haven't. You've got nothing on me, and you know it." The exchange between the two superstars was becoming more heated by the second, with each word laced with venom. But it wasn't just Rollins and Punk who were affected. In the distance, other wrestlers were beginning to take notice, sensing that this could be the beginning of something much bigger. WWE's history had been marked by moments like this, intense personal rivalries that pushed the envelope and changed the trajectory of the business. Was this one of those moments? The confrontation finally reached a boiling point when Punk took another step closer to Rollins. "You want to prove you're the guy? You want to prove you're worthy of holding the top spot in this company? Fine, Seth. Let's see who's really the best. Me versus you, let's settle this once and for all." Rollins didn't hesitate for a second, his voice now full of resolve. "You want a piece of me, Punk? You've got it. I'll show you what a real champion looks like. You're nothing but a relic, an afterthought." The crowd began murmuring, with some fans even starting to chant, "Fight! Fight!" as the tension in the backstage area was palpable. WWE officials quickly rushed in, trying to defuse the situation before things escalated further. But the damage was done. In that moment, it was clear this wasn't just a backstage argument. This was the beginning of a rivalry that could shake WWE to its core. As Punk turned to walk away, he cast one final, disdainful glance at Rollins. "Enjoy your moment, Seth. Because the next time we meet, it'll be for more than just words." The crowd, still buzzing from the drama backstage, had no idea what was coming. But one thing was certain, CM Punk and Seth Rollins were far from finished. And when the time came for them to settle their differences, the WWE Universe would be watching closely, eager to see which of these two rivals would emerge victorious in a battle for the ages. As the cameras faded to black and the event officially concluded, the tension from the backstage altercation lingered, setting the stage for what promised to be a volatile and explosive storyline in the weeks to come. The war between Punk and Rollins had just begun, and the WWE Universe could only wait to see how it would unfold.